Welcome to week 6 stretch flow. This is going to be a longer one, but as always, check the timestamps below to see how much you'd like to do depending on your time constraints. It's 40 minutes. We're going to go through a 20-minute flow, then we're going to go through a 20-minute static stretch, just 3 stretches. So we're going to get deep into those stretches. As I said, if you want to do the full standalone workout, this flow is going to be a great way to warm up into the stretches, get the blood flowing, heart rate up just a little bit, make you feel a little bit warmer, and then hold some deep static stretching. If you're doing this after a workout, you're already warm, just skip ahead to those stretches. You'll see they're each segmented depending on how much time you have. Let's get started. Let's start standing. First part here, leg swings. Now, before you just start kicking your leg, I want you to watch what I'm doing. And it's important because I think this is why it's one of the poorest warm-up exercises executed by most. Because most are thinking, okay, just gotta swing my leg. But what I wanna think about is what I'm doing at the hip and the knee. So I'll turn around in a minute here, you can start swinging, but I wanna keep my torso completely straight. It's not moving at all. My other arm is going to move so that I can maintain balance. But I wanna move the butt, or I should say, move the knee behind the butt and the heel to the butt. So as I swing, and it's important here, so I'm kicking this way, I'm swinging the inside leg. This allows me, one, to hold on and use the opposite arm to create some balance, right? Imagine running without your arms. Put your hands in your pockets when you run. That's what it simulates. So as I continually increase the height of the kick, I am not moving my torso, and I'm focusing on that knee getting behind the butt and the heel coming to the butt. Okay, this is important because as you start to increase the height and the flexion, you're going to increase the range of motion through the knee and the hip. So continue, another 2, 1, and let's switch sides. So on this side here, I start slow pendulum, back and forth, swinging the opposite arm. Notice how I'm kicking the inside. You can hold on to a wall, whatever it is, table, just keep yourself upright. The weight on my planted foot as the foot kicks forward, comes onto the ball of the foot. As the heel comes back to the heel of the foot. So there's even nuance to this very basic and often overlooked warm-up exercise. So heel to the butt and gradually get higher. Feel that stretch in the quad. If you're not feeling the stretch in the quad, you're not emphasizing that knee bending and getting the heel to your butt. Another 3, 2, and 1. Okay, next part, going across the body. So get a little bit more of a forward lean here, up onto the balls of your feet. One foot comes across, nice and easy, across the body. Keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, or out through the nose. In through the nose and out through the mouth. So gradually increase the height. Notice I'm on the ball of the foot, the planted leg. Open up that leg across the body for another 3, 2, and 1. Switching sides. Nice, easy pendulum onto the ball of the foot. The heel can come down as the foot crosses the body, but you want to be on the ball of the foot as that foot begins to come up so you don't put any torque on the knee. Gradually increase your height. Open up through the hip, toes up to the ceiling. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I'm still using the same, getting my lean a little bit more aggressive, but still the same angle here. I'm leaning forwards, and I'm just gonna pedal out my heels. Now as I'm pedaling out my heels, I wanna focus on the knee staying over top the middle of the foot. Your knee's gonna have a tendency to start to collapse inwards over the big toe. So look down at the knees, and if I'm facing this way, so you can see, my knee needs to go over the middle of the foot. I don't want the knee start collapsing in. So supporting it, a forward lean, do this on a table or a wall. Pedal out the heels, feel that pull through the calf, lower calf. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Another 3, 2, 1. Next part, arms out in front. Let's draw the elbow back, open up. Draw the other elbow up, back, open up. So some thoracic rotations, elbow back, open, elbow back, open. Gradually increase your pace, always drawing that elbow straight back. Palm comes up to the ceiling, rotation through the spine. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Little Jefferson curls here. Feet together, toes touching. Tuck the chin to the chest, round the spine. Hands down towards the legs. Flow down the shins, away from the body. Rotate the palms forward, thumbs out, and lift the arms up with your chin down. And then come back, thumbs to the shins, chin tucked, back up, hands on the tops of the hips. Push the hips forwards and extend through there. Come back to center. We're going to go down the sideline. You don't need to use the wall. You can use the wall. I'm going to demo without it just so you can see. Feet are together, arms straight up. I want to reach across, and then I'm going to come up with my other hand. I'm going to reach, grab the wrist. Okay, not the hand, grab the wrist, and then gently pull as I move my hips away from the side I'm pulling. 2, 1, come back up. Switch arms, arm comes overhead. Lean, grab the wrist, gently pull, hips away, and then back up. Let's go 1 more each side. Arm up, grab the wrist, hips away. Come back up. Last one here. Reach, lean, grab the wrist. Coming back up. Okay, a little squat sequence here. So let's find your squat width. Sink down into a low squat, pedal out. Heel comes out, or heel comes up. And just loosen up those hips, loosen up the knees, loosen up the feet. Back and forth. And then sink down, heels onto the ground. Holding on to this position. 3, 2, 1. Standing up and full squat for 10. And 5. 1, and then sink down to that squat. Gain some accumulated holds here. Arms on the insides of the knees. I'm gonna make a hand, open up a palm, and then a fist with the other hand. Fist comes into the palm. I bring the palm and the fist towards center. This is gonna leverage those knees outwards. Okay, and note, while we're sitting here together holding on to this position, arches, important they're not collapsing here. You need to have an arch, so have a look at your feet. If you don't have that arch, grab the floor with your feet. There might be a couple other things you need to do, but think about grabbing the floor with your feet. Your knees need to be over top of the pinky toes. So if your feet are so open, your arches are collapsing, and your knees are over the inside of the foot, you gotta close those feet. You might need to hold on to something to prevent yourself from rolling back. Doing this more often will help prevent you from rolling back. It's gonna open up your hips, it's gonna help improve ankle mobility. Your knees are gonna get more comfortable. This is a very natural position that you used to have and you've lost if you can't do it. So let's bring it back. 15 more seconds down here. Drive those knees out. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Another 3, 2, 1. Standing up. Shaking out those legs. Let's go into our hinges. So single leg, balance is most important here. So with your balance, if you feel like you're gonna fall, hop around. Don't put the foot down, hop around. We wanna work on balance. Hinge. Feel that stretch in the back of the leg. Hinge. As I get that balance down, I'm looking at one spot, grabbing the floor with the foot. Think about hinging a little bit lower, but keep the back straight. Keep the hips square. Don't put the other foot down. 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way back up. Let's switch legs. So let's start first. Get your balance. Find a spot that you can look at. And then begin your hinge. Nice and controlled. If you have one side that isn't as good as the other, just take your time. No need to rush through it. Slower on this side. But I'm focusing on the movement. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're gonna go mini Cossacks here. So we want feet nice and wide, and we're gonna pivot onto the heel. So we're gonna go back and forth, pivot onto the heel. And as you do this mini Cossack, don't worry too much about getting low yet. I wanna stretch through the hamstring, but focus primarily on the knee staying over top of the pinky toe, so no collapsing inwards. So in these mini Cossacks, we begin to open up, back and forth. And they're 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, for those of you who can get lower, this is one of the things I've been working on with my Achilles, is getting back down to a full Cossack. And come right down if you can, but only if the knee stays over top of the pinky toe. Going over and back. Over and back. Get a little bit lower now. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come back up to center. Okay, whatever you're holding on to, when we did our calf walkouts, we're gonna do the same thing for hip airplanes. So hinge like we were doing, but now we got balance. We're gonna open up through the hip. We are not lifting up the leg that's off the ground. We are rotating from the hip on the foot that's planted in the ground. I wanna open up as much as I can, but I wanna close as much as I can. Try to feel that stretch, the outside of the hip as you close it. Bring that hip down and across. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that closed position, hinge back up and onto the other side. Okay, find your hinge, open and close. Open and close. Three more. 3, 2, and 1, and back up to center. All right, so we've got the hips down. Now we're gonna go a little bit in the shoulders. We're gonna move to the floor in a minute here. Palms up. Keep the shoulder blades together. Thumbs back. I'm gonna rotate one hand as much as I can around. I'm gonna bring my chin to the other hand. Once I've got my chin here, I'm gonna then bend the elbow. Try to bring that hand to the opposite shoulder blade. Come back up, rotate the palm, rotate the other, and then reach. Okay, we'll get through this sequence. Segmented. If you need to, just to get used to this movement, we are stretching through the shoulders, stretching through the neck, rotating through the shoulders to create a little bit more space. Get a little internal rotation, just a little bit of everything. Take your time. 5, 4, in through the nose. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Okay, moving down to the floor now. So from the floor, we're gonna go into some spine and some shoulder work. We did some of these last week. We're gonna go through these a little bit faster. First part, iron cross, arms out to the side. Just wanna kick over to one side, kick to the other. And I wanna think about the hand staying, the back of the hand staying on the ground. As I rotate, get that rotation through the spine. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We roll onto our stomachs. Scorpion. So we're gonna progress this one. First scorpion, palms are down. Wanna reach to that opposite hand with the foot. You don't need to get the foot to touch the hand, just towards. Just towards. Keep the palms down on the ground. You'll notice that they slide as we rotate from one end to the other. Another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're gonna go into the chest. So we're gonna progress this now. I wanna rotate with the foot, but just behind the body. I'm gonna bend my elbow, come up a little bit higher, feel that stretch through the chest. And then same thing, other side. So foot comes over just a little bit. Top hand, I'm gonna reach, feel that stretch through the chest, and then the other side. So arm comes up, not quite 90 degrees. Foot comes over, that's how we control the stretch. My support hand helps keep position I want to feel this through the chest, maybe a little bit of shoulder, but you do not want to be crunching the shoulder here. And how you're going to find that position is based on your angle and height of the arm that's overhead. And then you create tension by moving that foot over the body a little bit more. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Let's go tabletop. Butt down. Child's pose here. Tuck or point the toes, arms overhead, rock left and right. Keep those fingers on the ground, reach them as far forwards as you can, butt down to the heels. Big deep breaths, wiggle your way and groove yourself into a position that's comfy. And then we're going to pull the hips forwards, open up the hands, allow the hips to sink down. Let the hips drop to one side, drop the hips to the other side. And then come back to center. And then from here, knees come out a little wider. Sink the hips back, get a little bit of a frog stretch here. Okay, and then we're gonna reach, thread the needle, palm is up, reach as far as you can, and then come back up and rotate. 5 on the one side, reach up, rotate. Up and rotate. 2 and 1. Other side. Sink the hips back, arm out in front, reach the hand, palm is up, and then rotate. Reach, palm is up, and rotate. Out of all of the rotations, can thread the needles. This one creates the most leverage, has to do with the hips being locked on the ground here, the knees wide, 2 and 1. Good. Next part, get into a 90-90 position. So from this position here, this side, think about the back knee. Position behind you as far as you can. So this is how you're going to create more leverage. That back knee moves further back behind you, still maintain the 90. This is going to create more tension through the hips. And now knee in front, pin that down. Okay, last time we worked on some holds. This time we're just going to work on reaching as far as possible. So I want you to think about pinning that back knee down. That's going to create a little bit more space. So I'm going to reach now. Palm is up as I reach. Exhale. Inhale back up. And then back leg comes forwards. I'm going to hinge, exhale in that squat, and then alternate. Here we go. Exhale, inhale back up. Exhale into that hinge. 3 more. So you exhale into the stretch. Inhale back up. Exhale into the stretch. Inhale back up. Last one. From here, we're going to switch legs that are forwards. Back leg. Remember to pin that behind you as much as possible. Important you keep that pin behind you because what's going to happen here, create that tension. If not, you're going to miss out the full benefits of this stretch. So get into my 90-90, reach, palms up, exhale, inhale, back to the top, hinge, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep getting that back leg as far as you can behind. 1 more. Good. All right. Now we're going to move on to the stretch portion of things. Now we go through each of these stretches, depending on your time, you can look at the timestamps below, hold on to one stretch, and then skip the rest, or do as many as you can. We're going to be going in some deeper holds. This is going to be a timed, but I'm going to be going by how I feel, so how I loosen up. So it's not a fixed 3 minutes, not a fixed 5 minutes. This is going to be something that I want you to get used to if you're stretching on your own. Don't think, hey, 3 minutes is up, I'm done. If there are time constraints, obviously that's a concern, but it's about how you feel. Allow that muscle, allow the joints to loosen up before moving on to the next one. So the first one that we're gonna do is a lizard. And in this lizard stretch, gonna get nice and comfy. Make sure you've got a mat. Start first, get a bit of an angle here. I wanna find a position with that back knee, okay, that is behind the hips and the front foot forwards with the knee staying over top of the toe. You don't want the knee behind. This is important. We're trying to relate this to all the squatting, all the lunging that we do. So we're going to start here first. Phase one of this stretch. The fists or hands down onto the ground. Inhale, big deep breath in. Exhale. Every exhale, try to get a little bit lower into the stretch. Okay, so your front foot, the big toe, little toe, heel, keep that tripod foot down. Front knee is forwards. We want to find that balance between stretching the back of the front leg and the front of the back leg. So inhale and exhale. And just fall into these stretches. If you feel like you've loosened up, you're ready to go down into stage 2, which is the forearms, you can go ahead there. I'm not going to force it. I might not even get down there, and that's fine. This is about feeling the stretch, not moving through the stages just for the sake of moving through each stage. So if you can, get those forearms down, but we don't want to move back in a stage. If you move back in a stage, you've gone too far. Focus on your breath. And on the exhale, picking up slack, getting a little bit deeper into the stretch. As I'm doing these stretches, I have no set time, but as these stretches have been recorded, you will see the time remaining on each of the stretches if you just have a look at the screen. But try to just relax into it. If you get time anxiety because you're wondering how much longer, look at the screen, just see what you've got. Otherwise, just enjoy it. I still feel a good stretch here, although I've bent my elbows a little bit more to pick up the slack. I've maintained the same position. Still this stage 1. If you can go straight down your forearms, go. If you can go down to your chest, go. But maintain the relationship with the front knee over top of the pinky toe. Okay, with that tripod foot. Don't want you just going down for the sake of going down. Again, we're relating this to our movements that we do. Okay, how to get into a deeper squat. Those of you that struggled holding the low end of the squat. How to get into a better ATG position for that split squat. How to open up the hips to pick up kettlebells, do double kettle or to deadlift and do double kettlebell swings. So when we relate these stretches to those movements, get more of this transferable, functional range of motion that you can use. In through the nose. Out through the nose. Nice and controlled. 10 more seconds. And let's push out of this. So front leg straightens out, sink back, and then let's go on the other side. Whew. That was about 4 minutes. Feels good. And I get other side. Okay, same position. If I get a little bit more angled here so you can see my front knee coming over top the pinky toe, and see how wide the foot is, or how wide the knee is to get out there. So I'm creating space by pushing that knee out. This is what we want to replicate when we're squatting. Maintaining that tripod foot, but still pushing the knee out as far as possible. As long as you've got that big toe on the ground, okay, with a little bit of pressure, you want to push the knee out as far as possible. This is what uses the hip muscles, create space for you to lower yourself. Okay, let's sink into it. Hands in line with the toes. So I like the fist position, because if I get my arms out in front, okay, I put more pressure on the wrists. And if I get too far forwards, I'm now no longer in that relationship with the front and back leg being equal. My fists are, though, a little bit sore from the last one. It's a big hold. So whichever you feel more comfortable with. Fists give you a little bit more height, so if you're a little bit tighter. But you could also, if you've got yoga blocks or anything else to raise up, you can use those too. Want to make these stretches minimal, if any, equipment whatsoever. This one is pretty much just the mat and something to hold on to. In through the nose and out through the nose. Pick up the slack on the exhale. Focus on that breath. I'm going about 4 to 5 seconds in. 4 to 5 seconds out. On the exhale, trying to get a little bit lower, even that's just a little micromillimeter. For those of you, particular micrometer. In through the nose. Out through the nose. About 30 more seconds. Feel that even stretch between front and back. Another 10 seconds. Two, one, and slowly out. Push that front leg. Straighten it. Come back to center. Whew. Let's get a little counter stretch. Allow the hips to sink down. And then child's pose. Moving left and right. Just shaking that out. Okay, next part, we're going to use a wall, okay, or kettlebell, something that we can leverage the foot against. We're going to lie down, and I'll demo this first. So I'm going to get close to a wall where I can get my leg to come and wedge against the wall. So I want to be able to get my foot against the wall. And on this position here, I'm going to bring my shoulders down to the ground, push the foot against the wall, and then just relax and lie into this. So we're going to slowly rotate the spine, also getting a little hip stretch here. The next side, I'm going to change up the mat, but I want to find this open position. If you feel like it's too much onto the spine to start, you can stack the shoulders a little bit more, but we want to open up. And every exhale, I want to try and open up through the spine a little bit more. Arm out to the side. I want to reach with that once I get a little bit more comfortable. If you feel like your foot is slipping, you just get a little bit closer to the wall. Okay, we want that leg straight. The lower leg as well. I let that one slip. In through the nose. Out through the nose. So we're not holding this one quite as long. But this one, you want to be a little bit more deliberate while picking up the slack. So as you exhale, think about that spine slowly opening up, gently opening up. You can move the arm out to the side a little bit more. And then exhale. Pick up the slack. Feel that rotation. Another 10 seconds. Three, two, one. Now, how you get out of this? Bend the knee, roll back how you started, foot off, and then onto your back. Bring both knees into the chest and get a little rock, and then let's go on to the other side. Your position, close enough to the wall, stretch out that leg, feel my other arm, not the one that I've got to the side, but my other arm can go on top of the leg just to help pull it down a little bit. When you pull that leg down a little bit, you get more of a stretch on the side of the leg, but also keeps the leg on the wall. Create more rotation. Get the leg up higher. In through the nose and out through the nose. So although this will be different with everyone, what I notice on this side, more stretch through the side of the leg, not nearly as much through the spine. And anyone who did a throwing or swinging sport, you're going to be biased to one side. So if you play tennis, okay, golf, baseball, throw the ball, swing at something, you're going to notice that one side always has better range of motion. Okay, this stretch is a good one to help balance things out, segment your spine back into a rotational position that's a little bit more neutral and not necessarily favoring only the one side. Just focus on the breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. Another 10 seconds. Two, one. Bring the arm back, bend the knee. Knees into the chest. Get a little rock. Loosen up the spine. And coming up. Last one. Okay, we've been progressing this one for the last month here. And this is going to be saddle. So saddle, I get a ball for my head, and I roll up the mat to make it a little bit more comfortable for my ankles, shins. So if you need to roll up a towel, maybe get a pillow. That's how you'll do it. Move forward a little bit, create some space. Okay, we want to sit down. Now, knees wide as you need to. I find a spot where when you sit back onto your heels, it feels moderately comfortable. The heels might be in the butt, but you're able to sit back somewhat comfortably here. Now the next part, going into stage 1 here. Okay, so in this first position, we're focusing on the hips coming up. This is going to be our longest stretch of all of them here. So hips are up, in through the nose, out through the nose. Important we get that hip extended. Feel the stretch through the quads as well, but we want to focus on the hips coming back. If you're ready to go down into second stage here, which is the forearms, you can go ahead. But again, this is just like what we were doing with the lizard. There's no need to rush through these stages. So just go through what you feel comfortable. I'm going to move down now into the next one. Forearms onto the ground. Allows me to adjust the ball as well. Okay, so this is where I stay in this position. I get enough extension through the spine without hyperextending. I get comfy amount of quad flexion here, so knee flexion, quad stretch. And then I just focus on my breathing. You can go all the way to the ground, get those knees down to the ground, go ahead. But we just want to focus on getting those hips extended, quads stretched, and feeling good. In through the nose, out through the nose. Make little micro adjustments if you feel like it's getting uncomfortable, but you want to stay down in this stretch. If you went too far, go to the next stage, hold that stage. In through the nose and out through the nose. You can do those 4 to 5 seconds in, 4 to 5 out. Do another one of those. The next part, we're going to work on some box breathing here. 4 to 5 seconds in, 4 to 5 second hold, 4 to 5 seconds out, 4 to 5 seconds hold at the bottom. Okay, so we get 16 to 20 seconds here per breath rotation or breath cycle. I'll count you through the first 2 and in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold. 4, 3, 2, 1, and out. 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue that flow. One more cycle. And to come out of this, slowly bring yourself back up. Go through a little counter stretch. First with child's pose. Lengthen out the back. Forehead down on the ground. Inhale forwards. And some light extension. Tuck the toes under. Walk yourself back. Push yourself up onto the balls of the feet. Just keep that back rounded. Flexion after holding the extension. Get your ankles into a little dorsiflexion after being in that plantar flexion. Couple breaths. And good. Whew. Nice work. Feel nice and loose. See you in the next one.